This is the Biolite 750 headlamp. But before we talk about that, let's go over our 330s that we've been using the past couple years for camping and trail running.
They've been pretty good to us. They are 330 lumens at the very, very brightest. In theory, they last 3.5 hours, which is a bit of a stretch.
And Greg decided to sign up for a 12-hour night race. We decided it was time to get him something a little bit brighter.
I had to get something brighter because I'm afraid of the dark. The main thing that everybody wants to talk about is lumens. These run in two different modes. There's a constant mode and then there's a regulated mode. The regulated mode kind of starts here and it kind of ramps down over time to give you that longer life. This one has the ability to do a constant mode, which will just give you full brightness, and that's a 2-hour brightness. If you just have it on normal mode, it will last 7 hours versus this one.
3.5?
Yeah.
For bright light?
This one doesn't have the constant runtime mode. It just only has regulated. So I didn't notice it at all when I ran with this light. It seemed constant to me. When this guy started ramping down, I noticed it a lot. And I was actually finding myself turning it back up, constantly back up. And that's why the battery life was so crappy on this one. This one actually primarily runs around 550 lumens and then has a burst mode of 750. Well, I ran for 4 hours in the dark. I only used the light for probably 2.5 to 3 hours, and I only used a quarter of the battery.
Which is really good.
The 750 has your on and off button right here. You turn it on and off and you can cycle through the different modes. But unlike that one, this guy has this button here. This is like the magic button. This one, you click this button once and it puts the light in 750 lumens for 30 seconds. When I was out running, I only actually used that button once, and there was a turkey up in the tree and he was gobbling at everybody running by. And so I pressed it once just to see if I could light up the area and see where it was at. But other than that, I actually thought that this was almost too bright. I was going up a really steep hill and this was so bright that it was reflecting off of the dirt back at me, and I actually would turn it down. Heading back into the aid stations, going up the hill, I would actually just turn the light off. You can also hold down this button here. You can hold that button down and it will ramp down the light into a low mode. Let's talk about the power buttons while we're at it. This one has a noticeably raised power button. This one does too, but there's a little plastic nub, as you can see on there. And that, for the most part, keeps things from pressing it.
Yeah, so it's not going on in your back.
They have a lockout feature. If you hold this button down for 8 seconds, it will lock it out. So that way, if you check it in your bag, it doesn't turn on, which actually I did when I put it in my pack. And then at the start of the race, I brought it out, turned it off, because I'm like, oh, I'm putting it on my head. I need to be able to turn it on, right? And we were standing around the starting line, and somebody actually asked me, hey, did you mean to turn your light on? And I was like, no, not at all. In the movements of me sticking it on my head, I just accidentally hit the power button, used the lockout feature. Let's talk about the tilt feature. The 330 has a really, really nice tilt feature, and you can see that it takes some effort to move. Let me see if you can hear it. You can hear those clicks. Once you set it, you're really confident that it's not going to move. Versus, if you look here, I tilt it out. One, did you hear anything? No. But two, if you move it, well, I got to put a huge amount of pressure on it, and it just doesn't want to go in a particular spot. It's more of a fluid motion, and if you look in there, you can see that there's this power cable, and there's a lot of tension on that power cable. When I was running, I would tilt it down, and it would flip back up just a little bit, and it would be just a little bit off. I ended up just moving it on my forehead a little bit to get into that right spot. I think if they did a version 2, fix it where it's actually like really sticks into place.
Like
this one.
Yeah. These are the back of the headlamps. And the 330 has a reflective strip, and the 750 actually has a feature where it has its own light flashing red light or a solid feature. So when you're running in the dark, people can see you. If you're walking in the dark or riding a bike.
I actually didn't turn this on. I turned it on once when I was at the race and it was so bright. When it's pitch black, this is super bright, and I honestly didn't know that you can dim this just like the front. If you hold it down, it goes into a dimmer mode.
Both headlamps are rechargeable, which is one of the main reasons we got them. They have a part that flips open.
It's a micro USB. If you're a company and you're still using micro USB on your new devices, don't do that. This one has a rubber stopper on it.
Same with this as well.
Yeah, and they advertise this, I think they call it constant run feature. And this one actually comes with a cable and a little cable tie. So you can put a battery pack in your vest or whatever in your backpack, and you can plug it into here while it's actually on your head.
To extend the battery's life.
And it will charge and still run while it's going. So technically, as long as the front doesn't overheat, it'll go for forever.
One nice thing about the 330 is it does have multiple color options. The 750, there was just the green and black.
Going back to the batteries, this one is a 3000 milliamp battery, and this one is 900. So
oh, that's quite a bit.
both have adjustable straps on each side. So when you put it on, grab these little clips here and slide forward and tightens it up. With this headlamp, out camping, even running, once you stick it on, if it's generally tight, totally fine.
Yeah.
I noticed with this guy, it's heavy enough to where unless this was actually fairly tight, it actually moved a little bit. So
yeah, this will stay on until I decide to take it off.
this headlamp is 5 ounces, 5.3, and this one's only 2.5. So
yeah,
this
it's really lightweight. Overall, what would you rate the battery of the 750?
I would give it 5 out of 5. It lasted plenty. I took 2 battery packs with me, and I didn't even make it to 75%. So
Comfort, like how does it fit? Does it fit nice?
I gave it 4 out of 5. It's noticeable. You have to have it tighter on your head, but still comfy.
Next category, light output.
I give it 6 out of 5. It was way brighter than I thought it was going to be, and I found myself turning it down most of the time instead of turning it up.
What would you give the 330s?
Light output, I give those a 3 out of 5. Only because of the regulated mode is super noticeable if you're wearing it for a long time.
How do you rate the features?
I give it a mark down on the tilt because it doesn't work
Well, it works, it just doesn't stay
It just
in
doesn't
place.
work as advertised. It's could be reworked. And then I mark 1 down for no USB-C, micro USB. So I give it 3 out of 5. Overall, I can highly recommend this light, especially if you're doing nighttime activities. You know you're going to be out there for a couple hours. Worked really well.
And you can find links for both of these in the description below. If you liked this, you might want to check out this video. You can find out more about us at exploretrekadventure.com, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.